The attorney was not present. Listen to my words.
Okay.
And I did that. My lawyer was present with me. There was no dig holes. My dog Oakley, it was a digger, but she dug right when you walked out the front patio where the dead spot is where the barbecue was.
Mm-hmm. Now,
dead because we had 2 barbecues at the time, and one was sitting on the grass.
One of the things, when you offered a deal, like a cooperation deal?
They offered this before they dug the yard, and they said that they would give me a 15 plus 7, but in the condition that I would tell them where the body is. And I said, I don't know where the body is.
Currently, or you did in the past?
I have never known where the body is.
Right, and you're right. But the problem is, what you told them is what they have evidence that there was someone in the backyard.
Okay, but they did not specify where the dogs hit. They said they hit in the backyard. I told them where he was buried, which was directly across. When you walk out the back patio door, it was directly straight across, right in the middle of the fence, in the middle of the yard. They didn't specify where he was hit. They said that they dug by the shed, and that the dogs had hit around the shed area. That's what I've been told. I know, and if you read their report, or you probably can pull it up, she literally, I don't know if it's accessible or not, but I know for a fact that when I gave them that location, they literally, I watched it on video when they were digging at that spot. Detective was on the phone with me. Mm-hmm. They dug nothing up. The dogs did not hit in that spot. I watched them.
Mm-hmm. But you said that he was in the yard.
I said he was in that direct spot, but he was never there. Clearly.
He was in that yard somewhere at one point.
Somewhere, probably, I don't know. I don't have knowledge of it.
Well, like you didn't pull that out of thin air. Maybe Adrian told you, maybe Sarah told you, maybe Brandon told you.
But this is exactly why it's hard for me to do these lives, because people are gonna try to judge me and say that I literally didn't. I had something to do with it.
I'm going to try my best to wrap this into a nice little bow now. I started this video of this huge puzzle that I feel like I was able to piece together. This is the scenario that I picture happening. I believe when Sarah Wondra got arrested on April 13th, 2022 for the assault and battery situation with Tanner, that she slipped up and let something out about Michael Joseph Vaughan, also known as Monkey. I'm guessing law enforcement saw how nervous Sarah was acting during the interrogation and knew that she was hiding something, so they probably used reverse psychology on her. They probably told her if she snitched on Stacey Wondra that she'd get a good reference from them to the DA, saying how helpful she was and she cooperated. Sarah doesn't want to sit in prison, so I think she started snitching. She probably started out with Stacey selling his gun because that wouldn't be on her hands. Law enforcement took that and checked it out, finding out that it was true. This next part, I think there could be an either-or situation. One possibility is Sarah stopped there and law enforcement asked if they could download data and pictures from her phone as evidence in her assault and battery case, because maybe she said that she was in fear of Tanner because of threats that he had made. Or maybe they asked for the phones to verify the gun story, because we know that Stacey had pictures of that AR and a scope on his phone. Or maybe Sarah snitched on Stacey for hurting Monkey, like she said later in November. So one way or another, law enforcement gets Stacey's and Sarah's phones. I believe while they had the phones, they found the collection of pictures that you saw on Stacey's camera reel, plus who knows what else. All of the information from their phones gave law enforcement enough evidence to get polygraphs done on May 19th, 2022 for Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, and Brandon Shirtliff. It probably made it easier that Stacey was in jail facing the felony gun charges. I believe when law enforcement got their phones, they found the evidence that made Stacey, Sarah, Brandon, and Adrian the 4 main suspects in Monkey's case. Law enforcement allegedly used the evidence from the phones and whatever else that Sarah told them and worked Monkey's case from May to November of 2022. Now, during this time frame, Sarah was released on her assault and battery case in July, but Stacey was still incarcerated on his gun case. I believe Sarah knew law enforcement was looking at them hard, and she knew that Monkey was buried in their backyard. So while she was out of jail between July and the end of October 2022, I believe she asked Brandon Shirtliff to help remove Monkey. I believe Stacey was the weak link, the bad liar, the weak one. So Sarah and Brandon didn't tell him that they were moving Monkey. I believe by November, law enforcement had used all of the leads that they had, and they knew that they had good evidence to prove that Sarah, Stacey, Brandon, and Adrian all had something to do with Monkey's abduction, but they needed a confession and they want to locate Monkey. So they decided to go take a harder approach with Stacey since he was still in jail. Stacey told us that he was interrogated that first part of November of 2022, and he cracked under pressure and told law enforcement that Monkey was buried in his backyard. He told them this after they offered him the deal to serve 15 plus 7. We all heard Stacey claim that he lied about Monkey being in the backyard, but every human remains dog that law enforcement had out there in that backyard hit on human remains. And that was after Stacey had told them to search the yard. That means that Stacey was most likely trying to make that deal that law enforcement offered, and he's lying on all of his YouTube interviews. When law enforcement went to search the backyard, they arrested Sarah for not telling them about Monkey in the yard. The part Stacey wasn't expecting was law enforcement told him that Monkey was not in his backyard. The jail even allowed Stacey to video chat with law enforcement while they were in his backyard. We heard that. I played that clip in this video. So there went that deal. That was a huge hit for law enforcement, I'm sure, since not only did they not find Monkey, but they had to drop the charges on Sarah too. Even though Sarah rambled to law enforcement about the Most High God telling her that Stacey killed Monkey and buried him in their yard, but she also blamed Adrian Lucien and said Monkey was buried in the neighbor's yard too. So if my theory is right, and Sarah and Brandon moved Monkey while she was out of jail in between July and the end of October of 2022, Stacey probably doesn't know where Monkey is today. Now, before I end this video, I want to run through my whole theory from the beginning super fast. Now, this is a trigger warning, and I'm going to catch you up to where I started this section of this video. So, trigger warning, okay? Trigger warning. I believe that Stacey, Sarah, and Brandon were driving down 8th Street by Monkey's and saw him outside alone on Tuesday, July 27th, 2021, between 6:45 p.m. and 7 p.m. I believe that they grabbed Monkey and they left the neighborhood. I believe that something horrific happened to Monkey between Fruitland and Kuna, and he was placed in Brandon's duffel bag. I believe they went to Kuna, to Tina's, Brandon's mom's house. I believe they all went through the gate on the right side of the house. I believe the duffel bag was set on the side of the house outside. I believe that Brandon had to change his clothes, and he put his dirty clothes in the duffel bag with Monkey. I believe the Three Stooges left Kuna without that duffel bag because they knew that Tina wouldn't be home because she was on a trip in Arizona. I believe that they did tow Brandon's Mercedes-Benz back to Fruitland. I believe they got home between 10:45 and 11:15 p.m. And Stacey stayed home because he is the bad liar, the weak link. And Sarah and Brandon told him to stay home. Sarah and Brandon played the part of the concerned neighbors and inserted themselves into the case by helping search for the innocent, sweet little boy that they had just left in Kuna. I believe before Tina got home from Arizona, but after the main ground searches had spread out in Fruitland, the Three Stooges brought Monkey back to Fruitland to their house and buried that duffel bag in their own backyard, where the bag stayed until sometime between July and the end of October of 2022, when Brandon and Sarah moved the bag for the last time. Whew, okay, I'm done with my theory for now. That was based from the facts that I've learned from law enforcement, the interview tour from Stacey Wondra, the horrid interview from Brandon Shirtliff, and using my connection with spirit. The end of my theory is where the timeline continues that I shared earlier in this video, and I hope that this helps make better sense now. I'll probably make one more video going from July 27th, 2021 to today in chronological order. If you'd like that, leave me a comment and let me know, and maybe I'll do it live instead. You tell me what you prefer. I want to thank you so much for watching this video until the end, and I would like for you to leave me a comment and use my hashtag. Just like you see on the screen right here, use the hashtag SSSquad so that I know that you made it all the way to the end of this video. And include in your comment if you would like a full timeline theory in video form or in live stream. And let me know what you think about all these puzzle pieces that I have pieced together in this video. I hope that you have the kind of day that karma feels you've earned. Till next time, I love you bunches.